Welcome to Inner Power Particles. I'm Farhad, the host of the podcast. We talk with entrepreneurs and leaders about how they have solved the challenges in their life or business and how it has transformed into new inner strength in them. And with this, we want to help that you also can look at your life or business situations and see how you can solve the challenges in them, and through that transform them also into new inner strengths, inner power particles in you. Enjoy the show. Hi, Roman.
Hi, Farhad.
Thanks for coming to the podcast. I want to start with the question, what do you do today?
What I'm doing today, I have my daytime job and I'm passionate about sports.
And what's the job?
I serve as a chief operating officer in a wellness company called Stebby, Tartu based, Pan-Baltic. Been there for 8 years soon, in December. So pretty long time of service, seen different things, still there, still passionate about it.
And let's delve a bit deeper into Stebby. I know that it's not a simple story that you joined and then you worked. There were some also ownership changes in the company. Can you share a bit what happened and what's your role in it? And
I joined Stebby in 2016 in December. We were sitting in a small, let's say, private property. We didn't have any office. And then we grew, and Martin Sosar was the founder. And at a certain point, the company attracted interest from financial investor and other kind of interested people. I'm not sure about my role in it, because my role was and still is to keep the team together in Stebby. So as a COO, it's a job that there's no kind of two similar days. It's always different. Through the whole time, I tried to just keep the show running in Stebby.
But what I remember in the news, there was this MBO story about Stebby. Can you share a bit about it?
I'm not sure how much can I share about it, but
as much as you feel okay.
When the founder Marty decided to move to the new challenges with new company, there was three guys, me and two guys more from the company, who and one fund put together, buyout offer for Marty, and kind of went it like this.
So you and two other guys plus the fund.
Actually, it's 5 of us plus fund.
5 of you plus fund.
Yeah.
Okay. This is interesting experience. Not many people have this in the startup world. Can you, and I won't ask you how much you paid or what, but what was your personal decision-making process there when you were evaluating if to do it, if to join it, if not to join it, pros and cons? And then in retrospect, what do you see, what you did right, what you did not do right?
During this process, I was in a place where I actually wasn't maybe too much aware of what's going on, because it was first experience for me with this type of a deal, and I relied basically on my partners most of the time. So it helped me a lot, because I was mostly involved in the operational part of this process. Trusted more experienced partners to do the rest. My job was to keep Stebby working through the process, because it's not one day process, it's quite lengthy thing. So I was offered to chip in, and as I've been in Stebby for long, I truly believe in the company, in the people of the company. So it wasn't a question for me to join or not, like to join or like to be in Stebby or to leave Stebby, or I just took it as a new opportunity. And as I mentioned, I wasn't aware what kind of challenges will it bring, because I didn't have any experience with that. But yeah, it was stressful. It was mentally demanding, I would say. But at the end of the day, now looking back, thanks to your question, looking back to my decision-making process, or like how I operated at that time, it was not survival mode, but I was under kind of pressure. And I believe that I put a lot of pressure to myself by myself, let's say, because it was the situation where now I take it pretty lightly. I would do it again. But back then I was, stomach is sick and you're like feeling out of balance.
During the MBO or after? Or before?
During the process.
During the process, yeah? What was causing this? Were there also some emotional, like frictions with the people, or just the business?
Not exactly frictions with the people. We've been working together with Marty for quite a long time.
Yeah,
I am person who have this tendency to get attached to people, and like it was the one part
yeah.
of it.
You were friends, eh?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, now we don't maybe get in touch too often, but
Yeah.
we still been through some stuff like together with Stebby, and we weren't on the same page all the time, but I still really value Marty, like in that sense.
Uh-huh. But how? So you were COO before, and you remained as COO. Marty was CEO.
Mm-hmm.
He sold out, and then in his place there's a new CEO. Yes, and how this CEO transition happened from your perspective?
It wasn't like Marty was CEO and then suddenly wasn't. Actually, we had Kestutis, one Lithuanian guy who was CEO during the deal as well.
Already?
Yeah,
Already then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was not so abrupt change actually.
No,
in
it
the
wasn't like
leadership
we
style.
just cut from here and other people take it from there.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's pretty solid kind of management team already in place. Just new guys came in with their own expertise as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me the biggest challenge was I would say dealing with unknown, because I didn't have any experience. So I was like, what's going to happen if this? What's going to happen if that? And now looking back, I understand that I would take it more lightly if I had another chance, but maybe I would obtain like less gray hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really vivid experience, I would say.
Because there are not a few situations when the original founders of the company would like to exit, but there are still management people who would like to stay and continue leading the company, but they do not gather together this courage and momentum to, okay, let's do it, let's find a fund, let's do the MBO. What would you say to these people? Because what I hear from you is that it as if almost felt it will be harder than it was, if you are now saying that you should have taken it more lightly.
Yeah, it's interesting question to. I'm not maybe in a position to like give an advice to somebody to take things lightly or not lightly, but I think what Stebby experienced is that things went logical way.
Yeah.
It's not, we didn't start to search for a fund or like search for some exit opportunities.
Yeah.
It went really logical because Marty was given more than enough to Stebby to a certain point, and then decided to move on. And like this kind of sequence of events just led us to the kind of logical solution. New people came in who believed in the company and obtained the shares, and we remained in management. And
okay. Respecting the privacy of or confidentiality of all the details, but just for someone who's listening and doesn't have this MBO experience, what is actually happening? So a fund comes in, who become shareholders, who are not shareholders anymore? Can you at least on some general lines, or also using your practical example, but respecting what cannot be shared, cannot. So what is actually happening in the MBO process with the cap table, with how each is involved?
previous shareholders out,
Yeah.
fund with majority in,
Yeah.
and management with minority stakes in. Basically, that's like in a nutshell how it went.
And meaning management who now have minority before that also had minority or didn't have any shares?
We had some shares which converted, like because we had this shareholders contracts as well.
Yeah. But management shares increased as a result of this or stayed on approximately the same level?
I would say they stayed approximately on the same level. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. So this means that this practically only the majority shareholding changed, yes, for the management team. Otherwise, but how is, because when it's co-founder with co-founder shares in the company, then usually they are actively impacting what's happening in the company. How is it now with fund? How this dynamic has changed?
I would say that the fund lets us as a management operate quite freely with the business direction and the team doesn't interfere much in that sense. Now, of course, we have our goals. We need to like deliver results as well. But what we're doing like on day to day in the company concerning the business we are in, it's up to us.
So meaning there's, of course it differs from fund to fund, but in this case you are quite free and you don't feel this that you are being actively controlled or managed, right?
No, I don't feel like I personally, why I'm maybe stayed in Stebby for that long is that I always had challenges and I always had trust and the freedom to do things according to my best knowledge or the best expertise I can find everywhere else. So yeah, I currently in a good place in that sense. So I feel like I'm in a good place in that sense.
When you talk about all this thing, I perceive you as being confident and that you're very stable in where you are. Where was it like that from the beginning, or this confidence grew?
Confidence grew, yeah, certainly, because when I came to Sport ID back then, we rebranded in some point. Then I didn't know what startup means. What is this? I came from like corporation.
You came from a corporate.
I came from Telia, and I had right away I had the sense that this breath of fresh air, the guy sitting in the private property house in Veriku Street in Tartu, and there is no kind of strict 9 to 5 stuff. There's everything does everything, and you are pretty much involved in all the stuff. At first it was for me overwhelming, but I think being a year or so in Sport ID, I started to feel that I really starting to understand something about like business we are in.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed like working together with people who is also were like really young, and there wasn't burden for the ideas, let's say.
By the way, this what you said is a very important point. Approximately a year passed and you started to understand things.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is very reasonable thing that you said, but people do not have this reasonable expectation when hiring. Meaning when we do hiring, we expect that, okay, newcomer will come somewhere in C-level. After 2 months, they will be already on full sales doing, but it's not so actually. It takes really time to understand things. Even if you come from another startup, you still need to understand the context, the microsystem, macrosystem, people.
Yeah. No, it was a year, maybe it was even a little bit longer in that sense. Just I was given freedom to learn. No one kind of really mentored me. I came in and was like floating around. Like I see how development works, how sales works. Like at the time, I came to Stebby to establish the customer service function as such, because we already had some clients who needed support, and I always was really close to the founder. No, the atmosphere and the culture was in a way that founder was always there, and everyone was really close in wins and in losses. So yeah, for me it was just I'm in an environment when I'm free to learn as much as I can, as fast as I possibly can.
I have one more question about work, and then would like to also switch to more private. But about work, you are COO, and for quite a long time. What is this dynamic between COO and CEO? How one is different from another? And what do you see is a good way to approach it? And what are maybe some mistakes that you've gone through or challenges that you've gone through?
I had 3 CEOs.
3 CEOs in this company.
Yeah. So it's pretty complicated to maybe analyze it. But my first year in the position was like literally improve everything you touch. That was all my job. I was trying to, first of all, understand the turbulence of the environment as I was in the company and was granted the position of the COO. I was like, okay, no, I didn't have any previous experience. I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's try. Let's give it a try. And then I started to look at the company, which I spent by that moment like couple of years from like different perspective. Like it was the same company, but when I took the position, started to observe the things from different angle. I was like, oh, it's not gonna be an easy ride. And of course, the CEO has always his own kind of vision and perception and thing. And then you, from operations, you need to take care of people like down the org chart, let's say, or depends on how organization is built. The first thing that I learned is to listen to the CEO, because this CEO type of people, or I don't know, they often have a vision. They shall have a vision, but they not maybe always too strong in verbalizing it. So
Okay.
you need to be able to sense what the guy wants to say and where this company can go or shall go by according to his kind of perception. Yeah, I personally like when the CEO is more outgoing person, extrovert,
Yeah.
than introvert, because I'm also like more extrovert person, and I can feel these things that one CEO may think of. Or yeah, so I prefer extroverts in CEO position, being COO.
Okay. But what is this line? What does CEO do and what does COO do ideally? Or maybe there's this overlapping part, and how do you filter out the overlapping part?
The overlapping part is the context that CEO shall create for the whole company. And my job is take this context and extrapolate it through the all departments down the chart.
What do you mean with context?
Where we are going, what we are doing, like what for. It's a business still, after all, like we're doing for money, but what is the greater idea of that? What are values? What we value? Often, like companies have values printed on the wall or something like that.
Yeah.
But my job is the CEO to detect what are real values, what we really value in employees, what we want to give them like as a leaders.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much what I expect from CEOs, to give me the context and vision, and I will take it from there.
Just to understand the last question here, how in structure is it? There's CEO, then the COO, and who else is in C level? Meaning, what teams are you as COO leading, and what teams CEO is directly leading
That's tricky.
in your company? Because there's no golden formula actually. But
Yeah, there's no, like, you as a CEO, you shall be like available for all stuff
Yeah.
actually. But I'm taking care of kind of product, HR, client services, let's say, like customer service and related, some other kind of. We don't have all the teams like sitting in departments. We have these teams without borders as well, like we call it units, where people are free to organize and bring expertises together based on the problem or topic they are going to resolve.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not, we don't have the strict structure that boom, sales.
What about marketing? Is it?
Yeah, in marketing we have person who is in charge for marketing, head of marketing. With sales we have chief of business development. No, it's 52 people already in Stebby, so it's pretty.
But the head of marketing, for example, they report to you or to CEO?
More to the CEO.
To the CEO, yeah.
So these lines of reporting in our companies, we are in constant communication. So what do we mean under the reporting?
Do I sense correctly that activities more related to getting people in the system are more CEO's responsibility, and then for the system to work properly and to serve clients, it's more your side?
Yeah, it's more or less like this. Yeah, but again, we are on top of these topics altogether within the board. So we are not the board sitting elsewhere.
Which roles are in the board?
There is a CFO, CEO, COO, head of marketing, and chief of business development, basically.
And you as COO are responsible for HR processes also?
HR process as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you've covered the whole spectrum in the board. Okay.
I take care of, basically, to conclude, I take care of the company to, in a sense, that it shall run. Show must go on day to day.
So you come in the company and become immediately COO. 3 CEOs have changed, and you strike me as a confident person, being in the right place in the right time. What makes you to be such a person? Can you share a bit about your private life, looking back? What are your defining life experiences?
I didn't, let's imagine 2016 I joined Sport ID back then, 2015, I didn't think that I can even climb somewhere in the ladder. I'm coming from a city of Kohtla-Järve. It's northeast Estonia, so it's kind of a Russian region. People speak Russian there mostly, so I do. And I decided to come study to Tartu in 2008. When I arrived at Tartu, I spoke really small like of Estonian language. I didn't speak English almost at all.
And let's give context for people who don't know Estonia. So the two cities we are speaking about is your hometown is mostly Russian speaking,
Yeah.
yes, and Tartu is mostly Estonian speaking.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
So you almost got into a place where there's language and maybe even culture quite big differences.
I moved from one country to another country, basically in the same country.
Yes.
So,
How was it?
Challenging, but what helped me that I started to live in the dormitory with Estonian guys. So I played football for a long time, and I still like serving as a goalkeeper's coach as well in local club. So everywhere where I was participating, either in football or like in the summer jobs, like waiter in the cafe or barman or whatever, everywhere there was like Estonian language is a working language, so I obtained it really fast.
So you learned Estonian properly?
No, basically, yeah. I had some base in school. I actually respect to my teachers. It really helped me to pick the language faster. And I think that the ability to adapt is the thing that led me to certain success.
Ability to adapt.
Yeah, to the situations, to challenges as well. But adapting is the main word, I would say.
But in this example, it's not only adapting maybe is the mindset, but then follows the action that you actually learn the language, you actually do the stuff, right?
I would count it under adapting. If I decided for myself that I love this city, I love Tartu really much. I didn't have any other chance. If I want to live here, I need to somehow integrate myself in this reality. So I need to adapt to this.
But to come to Tartu, why did you decide to do that? Was it because of studies or?
Yeah, because of studies, but I was visiting Tartu when I was really a small kid, 10 or 12. I really liked the city, the center of the city. And I remember I told my father back then I was 12 that one day I will live in Tartu.
Okay.
But I didn't mean that it wasn't the goal of itself. I just
Yeah.
came to here because here was the opportunity to study in Russian in University of Tartu back then. So I started to become a teacher of Russian language. Didn't happen. and I dropped out, of course, at some point because of the job that I wanted to do and so on.
So, following feeling, you came to Tartu, and then you are into sports, and that linked you into Sports ID,
Yeah.
which turned into Stebby, and they're also adapted to situation of the MBA, and MBO.
Unfortunately, it didn't lead me to MBA.
Yeah. But let us jump into one more topic. Being in a startup and then scale-up management team, what about the work-life balance? Because I look at you, you are actively in sports also. So how do you manage work, sports? I assume there's also some private life and relationship besides work. So how do you manage and how do you find balance?
That's maybe the most complicated question of them all today. It's really hard to manage as I'm not maybe the best practitioner of healthy work-life balance.
How many hours do you work usually per week?
Depends. I try to be in the office from as employees do, to be around them. But I often work in the evenings as well, or I have goalkeeping coaching sessions in the evening as well. It's certainly not 40 hours per week, it's more, but I can't estimate, I don't know,
50, 60?
60 or something,
60.
maybe, yeah.
Okay.
So it's definitely having an impact on the private life.
Are you in a relationship?
Yeah, I have fiance and I have a daughter, 5 years old.
Oh, so you have a fiance and a daughter.
Yeah.
And how do those two women in your life experience this, that you are, if you are 60 hours at work and then plus sport, how much time do you spend in sports?
Per week, 8 hours maybe. So
Okay.
no coaching sessions, you need to prepare and
Yeah.
go there and be there. Like I believe they understand this, that because my fiance, she has also hobbies and stuff, but I'm feeling myself that maybe now I am in the position where I should take a little bit slowly.
Being a mentor for CEOs and C-level, we often start with the business topics, but sooner or later we get to the family relationship topic. And this saying, happy wife, happy life, is quite true. It's impacting many things. Can we talk about this a bit? What are your experiences and what challenges have you had and what learnings have you gotten from this?
I would say that happy wife, happy life is inarguable truth. And I also I have this quite strong, so I would say that I can say that my fiance, let's say it, wife, is happy to, I don't know, 100%. I still have a plenty room for improvement in that sense, because I'm the person who can do one thing at a time. So if I'm into work, then I'm 100% like into work, and when I'm into sports, then I'm into sports 100% at that period of time when I'm in.
You're not speaking about hours in a day, but
yeah, it's not I give a coaching session and then 2 hours and then it's done. It's the same day I start already in my head, okay, I have session in the evening, I start thinking about it already. So with the family, it's almost like this. During the week, I'm there and I'm not there as well, because I still like, I come home from work and I still process like work thoughts a lot.
In your head you are still at work.
Yeah. And it's the switch for me is pretty hard. That's why my fiance told me that, hey, like you are not. She's pretty straightforward. Hey, you are not good at family life. And
so she told you that.
Yeah, I need to take that because she's right. It's maybe because I didn't experience the good, happy family life as a youngster. I don't have a clear, good example of happy family life which my fiance has. And that's the point where I think that I do it all to make my family happy. And I often think that I'm quite okay. I did this for my family, so they could be happy about that. But at the same time, family needs already something else.
Yeah.
And I'm always, like in sports, I'm always 2 steps behind.
You feel so, yeah?
Yeah, I feel like I'm always 2 steps behind in that sense. So yeah, and this is a huge challenge and in the relationship for me, which I'm currently dealing with or try to deal with. Yeah.
But usually we look at ourselves today. If we always can find things where something could be improved. But if you compare yourself to yourself, let's say 3 years ago, how you were in relationship with the partner, what has changed in you and in ways how you are in the relationship and what you do and approach it?
I think 3 years, if we look 3 years back, I wasn't aware of what family life really means. My daughter Rowena was 2 at the time, and when Rowena came to this world, again, 2 steps behind the situation, like I usually am in family life. I was thinking that I'm ready to start a family life. I wasn't. And every year I feel like I'm developing as a father, as a partner, but I'm still not there. If we take the scale of 5, then 3 years ago I was like between 1 and 2 somewhere.
But what has changed?
What has changed? I think that I'm not maybe taking the work over my family anymore, which I did at the beginning. Like this, it's hard to hard to acknowledge, or like hard to say it even to myself, when even my fiance says me like, you value work over the family. And then no, I'm not, like I'm not that kind of a jerk, I'm not like workaholic or something. But when I have these quiet moments when I like can look into myself, then I need to admit that it's true. That's why at the beginning I said that she is most of the time very straightforward, and true is right as well, giving this quick personality analysis to me.
And you approach her, what she shares, her sharings in a productive way, that you take it and then you use it for some change, because other way would be to say, no, I'm not.
Yeah, but living in the family, even if you say that, no, I'm not, and it's your problem, then its problem will become your problem very fast anyway.
Yeah.
So I try to listen to her, even if she says that you are not listening to me, then I listen. I'm a slow thinker. I need to take this information in, take a pause, and then when I have a quiet moment, just process it a little bit for a longer period of time. I take her criticism or her like feedback always. I take it seriously. It's painful, but at the end of the day, she is 99% right.
But it's not that maybe you are not slow thinker, but what I wanted to say is that it's normal for men to process these types of things, taking time to process. Because it's not that someone now came and told you, do this. Instead, someone came and told you, this is like that, and then you need time to figure out, okay, how do I use this information? What do I do with it? So it works for me, so it works for others. So I just want to normalize that it's absolutely okay to take time for this process.
I also think that it's completely okay. You should not keep the pace all the time with people around you. Like you should be able to take time and think about feedback that your wife like gives you. So yeah, I do not go into the defense. Like that's one important thing to highlight.
So if someone's listening us, he's in management of a company, and he feels that the relationship with the wife or girlfriend or fiance has gone grey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your, from your experience, what would you tell to the person?
Don't speak about work at home.
Okay.
Don't bring the work to home. When your daughter starts telling you that daddy likes to spend time with the colleagues more than with me, then you are in trouble.
Uh-huh.
And I was there, and I'm not out of there still.
Uh-huh.
Don't bring this stuff home. Don't tell your wife that this colleague told this interesting thing to me, or not interesting, or like I get this feedback or that. Don't discuss this stuff at home.
Okay. But then instead do what?
Discuss usual stuff. It's sometimes it's really important to discuss how pasta tastes, how you've been, and how your daughter been in kindergarten. I don't know what to watch in the evening. Like how, I don't know. Like, shall we go to the forest, or shall we drive or go to the cinema or something like that?
So relationship topics.
Yeah,
yeah.
I would not underestimate the usual organization of life, which when you're 100% into work, then everything else becomes a little bit gray for you. Okay, we need like, what do we eat like at the evening? I don't care, like I'm just tired, I just want to eat. But if you don't bring work to home mentally, then things that are happening at home become for you much more vivid. They obtain color, and which is really important, because when you come home, you have your work problems or whatever, you are maybe not in a good place mentally or something like that. Then for me, making a switch is really hard, but it helps to family sees when you're not there, especially children.
Yeah. But I want to add here, maybe there's a difference between 2 or 3 types of conversation about work. One is that you would come in the evening and then you would just retell day's events. Yes. I think, okay, and then the second example, that you come in the evening and you complain. This, that, and that, this, and that, that. The second type is quite heavy, dark energy. And then the third one is that I come home and I have a big decision to make at work. Yes, I don't know, let's say the same MBO. Should I do it? Should I not? How to do it? Or shall I hire or fire someone? So these big decisions, I would still suggest in this third category to talk about it and hear and ask the wife, what do you feel about this? Because this impacts us quite large, yes. But this complaining, yes. But then the question is what to do with it. These thoughts still are in your head. You can't just switch off. You are not AI. So, meaning the conclusion is it's not productive and helpful every evening to complain at home. Or just whine about how things are. But you still have inner pressure about how things are. What to do about it? Where to put it?
Sports helps me. Sport helps me a lot to lower the temperature in my head, work-wise. And actually, you mentioned like fair point about the decisions. Yeah, these types of things I try to bring home, like, because women, they perceive stuff differently.
Yeah.
And
bigger antennas.
And see stuff from different angle, and a huge help to organize your thoughts as well. Like when you discuss these big decisions, let's say, or shall I don't know, do something at work like big, really significant, meaningful.
Yes.
Then yes. But yeah, I was talking about this kind of, like you said, dark energy. Oh, then I have so much work to do. Who cares? Like your 5-year-old daughter doesn't care about it.
Yes.
But if you verbalize it, then one thing that remains to her is that, daddy has a lot of work to do, period. Like, I don't want my daughter to go to the kindergarten, like to some event, and when somebody asks her, what's your daddy is about? And my daughter answers, my daddy has a lot of work to do. That would be like, then I'm done. No? Then I don't want this to happen. That's what I'm currently on the path of regulating myself in that sense and taking feedback from my wife seriously.
This means that you need to find a way how you switch off work in you after work hours are over. And you say sports helps, but you actually said a while ago here that also it's a matter of perspective to take things lighter, that they're not absolutely important. Yes, they are important, but they're not absolutely important. They're not number one thing in life.
Besides sports, I like drawing, for example. Like
drawing.
I draw a lot. I even draw in the meetings. So my notebook pretty much consists of different drawings. But my team accepts this. It doesn't mean that I'm not there. I just focus better and I listen better. And at home I draw with my daughter a lot, just different things.
Yeah. I remember what you said, that if you focus fully on work, then everything else becomes gray.
Yeah.
So does it mean then you should have like X number of equal priorities in life, or family is number one and then work is number two? So what's your system? How do you feel it now?
I would say I am better in setting priorities in work than setting priorities in the personal life.
No, I mean, if there's you and then you look, there's work, family, sports, health. Is it for you now so that the family is number one and everything else number two, or they are equal? Because what I hear you saying, that work is not 90% of your life and then 10% everything else.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Now I'm on the path to make family the priority number one, because it's funny to say, but I need to learn how to be a part of the family, how to contribute. Okay, this all like house and everything like sorted out. I was like, let's say you mentioned 3 years ago, I was thinking that this is the thing that one man should do for the family, but it doesn't mean that much compared to the time that you can allocate to your family.
Yeah.
So my current priority is to fix or to get myself to the point when I can say that I contribute to the family on different levels, not only this everyday stuff, but being the part of the family.
But there can also be opposite deviation. Imagine if you would be spending, let's say, half of your awake time with family and work like, it's bringing in some money, I don't care. This could also backlash actually in time. At least if I was the woman, I would with time start to feel that you're wasting your potential. Why don't you go and accomplish something? Yes, I mean the truth is somewhere in between of those two states.
Yeah, I get. No, I'm still a professional kind of.
It's not even about you. I was theorizing just so that to show that there's this opposite problem possible as well, and the balance is in between.
I definitely not the guy who would be a stay-home dad or something.
Yes.
No, I think even my wife wouldn't trust me like to do it because it will be havoc like at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get your point. Yeah, I'm not considering not kind of performing at work at all. It's not like the way I want to go.
Yeah. Also, can you share maybe with this we can move to concluding the conversation. If let's come back to this situation is gray at home, yeah, and usually when situation is gray, then for both sides it's hard to change it. One starts to talk, another is you are anyway pretending, or how to get the ball rolling to bring back colors.
No, now you address the wrong specialist, I would say.
From your experience,
I think it's like doing things together. Personally, like what problem I had that with my wife, we see life pretty differently, and finding the common interest even is challenging from time to time.
but you find it.
We have, she's also like into sports. She's photographer like of a basketball team, and we go there and we have in this common environment. I also visit every game and stuff. So yeah, but we are still like working on it. We both love nature. She's maybe less creative, I'm more creative, so we go out there. I see for one thing, she sees for different things. But it's really complex. I would say really complex topic, how to make your family life from gray to colorful. I think there's no like single recipe.
Maybe then we can conclude with what you already said, that it's a matter of perspective and priorities.
Yeah.
Because women are more into relatedness and relationship. Men are usually more into doing and accomplishing things. And then to have this balance also, that I as a man find time for relatedness besides doing things.
Yeah. No, I would put it like where my mindset, like if I look into myself, where my mindset should change. Again, like you mentioned, 3 years ago, like my mindset was, I am warrior, I go out of the door and I need to bring elephant back home, then we can eat elephant or like mammoth, whatever.
Yes.
Like now I'm with tiny steps try to go to the point where I go out there, bring this mammoth home, and I help my wife to cook it off as well. I would like metaphorically said, this is the conclusion, the change of mindset. So I'm not like, achieving something, doing thing, delivering something else, but it's the most important is you did your part. You should do it anyway, but then you should roll your sleeves and help your family at home as well. Either like with the hard things or like soft things, or how to name them, like either atmosphere wise even. Because if you're just sitting on the couch and I don't know, just the element of decoration at home, like
tired COO at home,
you're just a piece of whatever, then it doesn't add any value to your family life. So And the argument that I did it all, I don't know, brought food on the table or whatever, it doesn't work like that. It's not that nobody will clap the hands like the home. Oh, dad brought us the kefir recipe from Maxima. No, come on, this is not. You need to commit all the time. And often I feel tired that I committed to work, now I commit to like family life, but it's a whole different things. And I, at the moment, make really tiny steps towards enjoying both at the same time, and make towards making the switch between them. Not that I switch from one, let's say, obligation, but I don't take like work and Stebby as an obligation. Like I really enjoy it. To another obligation that I need to deliver something at home, be with daughter or do something there. Like that's the really hard challenge for me at the moment. But I still believe that I have chances that I'm able to like learn or develop, let's say, in that sense.
Okay. Time for us to conclude the conversation already. It was, if I would summarize it with what was the theme, for me the theme was work-life family balance.
Pretty much it, yeah. Pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you, Roman.
Thank you, Farhad.